Close your eyes. Imagine no electricity, no cars, no internet, no modern medicine. Now imagine, this isn't a power outage. This is forever. What if I told you there was a single moment in human history, a fork in the road, where we almost stayed in the darkness? A moment where coal never met steam, where factories never rose, where the modern world never happened. Today, we're entering an alternate timeline, a world where the Industrial Revolution was strangled in its cradle. And what you're about to discover will change how you see everything around you. But first, the secret that almost kept humanity in the medieval age for centuries longer. Britain, 1712. The world is powered by muscle, wind, and water. Life expectancy, 35 years. 90% of humans are farmers, and the planet is running out of trees. Europe had burned through its forests. No would meant no heat, no construction, no survival. Then, a blacksmith named Thomas Newcomen built something strange. A machine that could pump water from coal mines using steam. Inefficient, clunky, but it worked. Coal became accessible, and coal changed everything. But here's what they don't teach you. This almost never happened. 3 times. Scenario 1. What if England's coal deposits were just 50 feet deeper? Unreachable with 18th century technology. The mines flood. Newcomen's engine is never needed. Coal stays buried. Scenario 2. What if James Watt, the man who perfected the steam engine, died from the tuberculosis that plagued him as a child? No efficient steam power. No industrial explosion. Scenario 3. What if Britain's textile workers, terrified of losing their jobs to machines, had succeeded in their violent rebellions? The Luddites burn every factory. Innovation becomes illegal. Any one of these changes, and we're living in a completely different world. Welcome to Earth, 2026. But not our 2026. Population? 2 billion, not 8 billion. Because without industrial farming, antibiotics, or sanitation, most of humanity never got the chance to exist. And the people who do exist, their lives are unrecognizable. You wake at dawn, not by choice, by necessity. You're a farmer, like your parents, like your grandparents, like 90% of all humans who've ever lived. You'll spend 14 hours today just trying to eat. No tractors, no refrigeration, no pesticides. A bad harvest, your family starves. A drought, your village dies. Travel, you might visit the next village once in your lifetime. The concept of a vacation doesn't exist. Most people die within 20 miles of where they were born. Communication, a letter takes weeks to travel 100 miles. By horse, if the rider doesn't get robbed or killed, there is no phone call to your mother, no text to a friend. When someone leaves, they're just gone. But here's the part that will haunt you. Medicine. Without industrial chemistry, there are no antibiotics, no vaccines, no anesthesia. A simple infection from a cut is a death sentence. Childbirth kills 1 in 3 mothers. 40% of children don't live to see age 5. You bury more of your children than you raise. Without the Industrial Revolution, there is no middle class, no social mobility, no democracy as we know it. Power remains concentrated. Kings, emperors, warlords. They own the land, the resources, you, and they always will. Because the economic explosion that created factories, jobs, and wealth never happens. Slavery? Without industrial machinery to replace human labor, it never ends. Cotton, sugar, tobacco, all still picked by human hands and chains. In this timeline, the economic incentive to abolish slavery disappears. An empire? Britain, France, Spain, they continue carving up the world. But not for oil or factories. For spices, for gold. Colonial extraction becomes the only economic model. Forever. But the darkest truth? The wars we avoided, and the ones we didn't. No industrial revolution means no world wars. No tanks, no machine guns, no bombers, no atomic bombs. Sounds peaceful, right? Wrong. War becomes endless. Without the devastating efficiency of modern weapons, conflicts drag on for decades. Swords, arrows, sieges. The 100 Years' War becomes the 300 Years' War. Millions still die, just slower. And innovation? The greatest minds of the 19th and 20th centuries, Einstein, Curie, Tesla, Turing, they're never educated. They die as peasants. Their ideas die with them. Calculus, evolution, relativity, perhaps discovered centuries later, or never. But there is one beneficiary of this alternate timeline: Earth. Without factories belching coal smoke, without cars pumping exhaust, without plastic choking the oceans, the planet breathes. The Amazon rainforest? Untouched. The Great Barrier Reef? Thriving. The atmosphere? Clean. Climate change? Doesn't exist. The passenger pigeon, the Tasmanian tiger, the dodo, species we drove to extinction, they still fly, hunt, roam. But here's the paradox that breaks everything. Yes, the Earth survives, but you don't. Without modern medicine, you're dead by 35. Without agriculture technology, half your family starves. Without heating systems, you freeze. Without water treatment, you die of cholera. The uncomfortable truth: humanity's greatest suffering and greatest achievements are inseparable. So what had happened? Why are you watching this on a screen instead of dying of smallpox in a field? Because in our timeline, Newcomen's engine worked. What survived? The Luddites failed, and coal met steam in 1712, igniting a chain reaction that nobody could stop. Within 150 years, we went from candlelight to electric grids, from horses to airplanes, from illiteracy to universal education. Life expectancy doubled, then doubled again. Poverty, humanity's default state for 10,000 years, began to fall. But every choice has a shadow. We burn the future to build the present. Coal became oil. Factories became megacorporations. Innovation became inequality. And now, in 2026, we face the bill: climate catastrophe, resource depletion, technological dependence. We escaped the trap of eternal poverty and built a trap of our own making. So here's the final question, the one that matters. If you could go back, if you could stop it all, would you? Would you trade your phone for a forest? Your antibiotics for clean air? Your democracy for purity? Because here's what we discovered in this journey. The Industrial Revolution wasn't just about machines. It was about time. It compressed 10,000 years of gradual progress into 200 years of chaos. And maybe we weren't ready. We built skyscrapers before we understood gravity. We split the atom before we understood war. We connected the world before we learned to live together. But there's something else. Something the alternate timeline shows us. Without the revolution, genius dies in silence. Mozart might have composed symphonies while plowing fields, and we'd never hear them. A girl with the mind to cure cancer might die at childbirth. The person who could have solved climate change never learns to read. Progress isn't the enemy. Carelessness is. The truth is, we can't go back. The gears are turning. The world is awake. 8 billion lives depend on the systems we built. But we can go forward. Differently. We inherited a revolution we didn't choose. Now we must complete it. Not with more coal, not with more extraction, but with wisdom. Because the real question was never, what if the Industrial Revolution never happened? The real question is, what will we do now that it has? Every machine you touch, every medicine you take, every extra year you live beyond 35, you owe to people who chose fire over safety, innovation over tradition, tomorrow over yesterday. They gave us the tools. The question is, what will we build? Don't forget to answer.